Hi there, it's Art by C. Today I am going to be redecorating another sketchbook. I am almost done with this one. Maybe I have like a page left or so. So I'm going to start decorating the cover for this one. If you're wondering why my fingernails look like they're painted by a 3-year-old, that's because I am incredibly impatient. And usually when I paint them like crap, like in the next few hours after washing my hands and everything, the paint will come off, but hasn't been that long yet, so yeah, don't judge me. Recently I've started a series with like these mushroom people, and I want to do, like I said, a whole series and probably make them into like stickers or postcards or something like that. But I thought it would be kind of funny to do like a very realistic version of like a hairy man's legs with like the fly. Ooh, it's got some paint on. Anyway, like so the fly agaric mushroom, agaric, I'm not sure how you say that, agaric? I don't know, I'll put a picture of it like right here or something. But yeah, so that's probably what I'll be doing on the cover of this today. I do want to quickly add that this video is more of a sit and talk video. I kind of discuss some of the processes at a more lengthy detail. And if this isn't really your cup of tea, I do have some time lapses and such you can watch. But if you like this format of just sit and talk, let me know, because I do kind of want to do more in the future. But I just thought I would put that up front in case this isn't really your jam. I just quickly wanted to add that I know I say this every single time, but I do want to post regular. It's hard when I'm like going to school full time and working and everything. But I went to Colorado recently, and I've gotten so much inspiration, so many video ideas. Even before I went to Colorado, I have like a list of different ideas and stuff I want to do. It's just finding the time to film it and everything. I have buckets of inspiration, but not buckets of time. If you're wondering what that shadow is, that's my cat making an appearance. But yes, like I said, I plan to make a lot of cool videos, but we'll see if the time allows me to. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to start by sketching the idea. So here's what I have right now, and I'm kind of debating whether or not I want the pose to be a little more dynamic or not. I kind of like this pose because I imagine the man would kind of just be standing there like meh, like, you know, like kind of a weird pose. So I don't really mind this. I kind of like it. I also kind of like how this like underskirting of the mushroom kind of does look like a skirt. I find that kind of funny. But yeah, I think I'm getting somewhere, and then I'm deciding if I want a background or not. I kind of like how especially on the sketchbooks, you leave like the background, the sketchbook texture, and then you just like gesso your subject. I think that's like really stunning and kind of cool, especially for like a sketchbook, because it's kind of just like a centerpiece. It's not really like it's not like telling a story or anything. It's solely for the purpose of just like decoration. And sometimes I like things without any background. I don't think things always need a background. I mean, one of my art teachers was super keen on like, you always need a background, blah, 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 which like I agree with for the most part, but also I think there's a time and a place where it looks kind of interesting without a background. So yeah, this is kind of what I was thinking. I can't really find any pictures of men like above the knees, so this part I'm kind of just gonna have to make up. I might look on Google a little bit, but yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. So I'll probably start sketching this on the black sketchbook and draw it out in white, and then gesso that area. Okay, so this is what I got so far, and I'm just using this white Prismacolor. If you're wondering what this black thing is, it's called a pencil extender. It's really nice. I definitely recommend having one if you draw a lot and you like to save your materials, and if short pencils annoy you. So now I'm just going to start sketching the legs. It sucks because like I was trying to look for male legs And they're all like extremely toned and like beautiful looking, and I want more like white, skinny, nerdy. But that's okay. We should have like a weird reference site that's like, does anyone mind posting a picture of their white skinny legs? I would really appreciate that. These are all like beautiful tan, like tone people. If you're wondering like what I'm doing when I'm drawing, I've never really like gone too in depth into this, but I kind of like try to break things up into like basic shapes. So for example, like the ankle, I noticed that there's bulging on both sides, so I put an oval there to what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of the word. So now is probably the most tedious process. I mean, besides like painting. But I'm going to go ahead and gesso. I'm just using Liquitex acrylic gesso, basic, I don't know, whatever. Yeah. And you're gonna gesso exactly where you want the paint, and then the tricky part is the tricky part of this is that, you know, if you want to maintain that difference of texture of gesso and paint versus the texture of the sketchbook, you kind of have to be a little precise with this. And you know, it's not too hard. I don't know if I'm describing this well, but another thing too is if your sketch is like real detailed, you can kind of obviously lose some of it. So so what I would say is if you have a real detailed sketch, which I got another version of my sketch obviously in my sketchbook, but you could take a picture of it and reference that. Another thing you could do is kind of like leave little spaces where things are, so like leave a tiny bit of a black spot. The paint should, or white spot, or yeah, it's black spot. The paint should be able to, like, you know, withstand going over that much, but the gesso is like a nice base. So yeah, you could do either of those techniques just mentioned. And honestly, acrylic paint would just probably go straight on here and be fine, but gesso's a much nicer surface to work with because it's grittier. I'm actually gonna switch to a little brush for this. So like I said, I'm just leaving those like little black spaces so that I know where my lines are and separations of things are. I am not like one of those people that like can narrate and paint or draw. Like I can't do too many things at once. I don't know, even listen to like a podcast or videos too much. I mean, I can put on music, but the other stuff is too distracting. And I try to put like a nice even coat on this, but it usually doesn't come out that even. And this is all going to be covered up anyway, so. And like I said, the paint can go straight on something like this. But this does help a little bit. So like when I do the little tannish bits that stick out on the fly or Garrick, I don't need to like account for all that with gesso, but like, you know, you should gesso what you can. And like I said, you don't even have to gesso, but I would recommend it. Never actually really tried to paint on this without gesso. I don't know if it would peel up or not. I've always been curious of this. Curious of that. And so like for the feet example, for example, I'm gonna go pretty in depth with paint, but with the gesso, what I can, I guess. The main thing is, like, if you're not sure if you are gonna paint that area, don't gesso it, because you can't really get the gesso off. And if you want to leave that texture of, like, the texture like that this sketchbook has, you won't really be able to get it back. And another thing too is, not only is it going to be a nicer texture to paint on, but your colors will show up better. So like if I put some, it depends what kind of paint you're using, but like if you're using a cheaper paint, the yellow, you know, or something would not show up very well on this. No, come on, no. The other day I put down like this mold killing paint in the corner because I'm in the basement. That's why my videos are always really loud whenever I'm talking. Sorry about that. But, and she had the mold killing paint like all over her, and I was like, were you like rolling around in this stuff? I made sure I took it all off her and everything, because obviously I'm sure it's very toxic and everything, but I'm gonna go around obviously after and kind of like erase the white bits once it's all said and done. The white bits meaning the colored pencil that you can still see. This kind of looks funny as it is right now. And as you can see, if I'm making like a mistake with the gesso, I just kind of wipe it off with my finger. Could use a paper towel and be like a little more precise, a wet paper towel or something, but I'm not too worried about it. Don't squirt as much gesso as I did, because I just wasted a lot, but better to waste art supplies than not use it at all, is what I always think. Okay, so that's probably good. Not exact like I said, but it'll do, and I'll obviously be able to fix some things up with paint, so yeah. Okay, so now I'm just gonna go around it. So the sketchbook is dry at this point, all the gesso is dry, and I'm just gonna go around it and erase the colored pencil. It sure looks like some of it's erasing really well and then some of it's not. Also, I wanted to add, now that I showered, look at how like clean my nails look. Except I did smudge that one. I'm very impatient, like I said, when it comes to nails, but see, now they look okay. But I'm just using a kneaded eraser. Any eraser would work. This one's nice though because it doesn't create shavings. I'm not sure if the other one would. Let's test. Oh, this is really dirty. Okay, so it looks like this one doesn't really leave any residue besides the stuff that you brush away. These probably do erase better. Yeah, they do. This is a Staedtler Mars plastic. Oh, it's getting on the chalk or something. Okay, so today for the painting, I am actually going to be using these heavy body acrylics by Liquitex. I'm really excited because I've never actually painted with this nice of paints, believe it or not. It's funny because, like, well, I wouldn't say my primary, but like one of my favorite things to do is paint with acrylic, and I've never painted with really nice acrylic. I have painted with like Liquitex Basics. They look like that. And then I've also painted with, I really learned on like craft paint, like from what you would buy at Walmart, so it's really fun to start advancing up. But yeah, I thought I would start with a small piece like this. Okay, so here goes. Like I said, this is really expensive paint and I've never used anything quite like this, so I'm not expecting it to be too much different, but maybe just more opaque. Yeah, wow, this stuff is crazy. One coat is all it takes. Wonder if it's gonna be slower drying. I hope not. I like acrylics because they're fast. Yeah, I feel like especially with this stuff I really could have just gone straight on because it's so opaque, but I don't like regret gessoing it or anything. I think it's a nice step. Actually, yeah, you can see, like, maybe you can't see. You see that little tiny bit right there? That's darker red. That's where I didn't gesso it. So, yeah, that definitely does make a difference. Hopefully you can see that. And I'll just have to build that area up a little more, which isn't really a problem. Okay, so I haven't done too much so far, but it definitely feels different, this kind of paint. It definitely, like, from my experiences of different paints and stuff, it definitely feels like, obviously it's not, but this more expensive acrylic does feel like oil just because it takes a second longer to dry. Not as long as oil, obviously, but I really like that actually. I am impatient, so I do like that acrylic's fast drying, but I didn't realize how much I like this not drying as fast. It's really nice to work with. It feels creamier too. Softer, kind of, like buttery. Another thing that the gesso helps to do is kind of get rid of some of the, like I said, the texture that this sketchbook gives off. I am still working on a good amount of this texture. If I did more layers of gesso, I think it would get rid of more of that texture, but I don't mind the texture. Okay, I think I'm gonna start moving on to the underside. Okay, so this is how it is looking so far. When I start getting to like the finite details, that's when I really start to water down the paint. I was trying to like describe it before, and I talk about it a little bit in the, it's an older video, but the time lapse of the fly agaric hand, which it's funny because I'm painting a fly agaric now. But in that video I talk a little bit about my painting process. I don't go too in depth of it, but I do talk about it a little bit. So if you are curious, just let me know and I'll try to like make a new video about it. So with the way I've been kind of filming videos lately, when I do film videos, is I do a little bit where I'm speaking and not so many time lapses, just because the computer I have is a little bit older. I want to eventually get a new one, I have like a Mac desktop right now, and I want to get a MacBook, and I'd still keep my Mac desktop, and I'm hoping then I could like edit videos on the MacBook. So maybe when I do that, I'll try to do like more time lapse and stuff. But I feel like overall, even the kind of videos that I liked watching are, and I feel like what are really trending are people like sitting down and kind of talking while they're doing painting. So that's why I'm kind of just like editing the parts where I'm like talking and stuff, but then you kind of like skip and don't see the whole process. So let me know if you guys like have a preference to that. I like I said, for example, I like watching the more talky ones, but you do miss like some of the process, like I said. So you know, there's pros and cons of each. I know a lot of YouTubers have been doing that format lately, like fill a sketchbook spread and talk with me, or like tea and drawing or whatever. So I feel like it is pretty popular. But yeah, let me know. The only thing is, when I do these type of format of videos, I can't get all of the footage of me like talking and everything. I can't just run this straight, otherwise this video would be a few hours because it does take, you know, quite a while to paint. So that's kind of why you're getting bits and pieces. I do want to do videos in the future where like it's just an hour of me talking, like if you're familiar with Mini Smalls, she's been doing those videos lately where it's like a sit and talk with me and like for like an hour, and I think those would be fun to film, and I like watching them myself because I watch way too much YouTube. But yeah, let me know in the comments. Okay, so this is what I got so far, and I'm going to start on the legs now. Okay, so this is how the legs are going, and they don't really look like as scrawny as I was picturing them. They kind of turned out a little bit more muscular, but I think that's just because of the reference I was using. But I don't mind it. I'm going with it. The legs are going okay. I'm hoping once I finish the feet and stuff, add a few more details, and then add the leg hair. I'm hoping the leg hair will really like give it that extra thing that I think it's missing. I'm still adding detail though, like I said, so I guess we'll just have to see. Okay, so this is how the legs are looking, and like I said, I still gotta add leg hair to them, and I'm hoping that will change a little thing, like a few things, and make it look a little better. I don't think they look bad. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and start adding leg hair. Okay, so this is how the legs are looking, and I'm not entirely sure how I feel about them. I think I'm going to move on to the details of the mushroom cap, and then if I like want to come back to this, I will, just because I don't think I'm like doing any good. I think I'm just like keep adding to it and not liking it, so I think I'm gonna move on to the mushroom for a little bit. And like I said, maybe come back to this depending on how I'm feeling. So I think at this point I was kind of all talked out, and I just wanted to play some music, and all of the music I was playing was of course copyrighted. So here I am doing a quick little voiceover, but yeah, basically I just started adding the little specks of the fly agaric, whatever, however you say it. I think this type of mushroom is especially fun to paint just because these specks are so random shapes, random pattern to a sense, to a certain extent, that it makes it really effortless to paint. So if you really like mushrooms and you want to give either creating, drawing, painting a mushroom, I definitely think a fly agaric would be a good start, just because, like I said, they're very obscure and there's not really any distinct patterns in the little specks. It's really quite enjoyable and almost therapeutic to paint. So yeah, fly agarics are pretty fun to paint. Give it a shot. Okay, so I think I'm pretty much done. This is how it looks. I think the only thing I am contemplating adding is like C written underneath, so it's not a good thing. Written in white, so like something like that. Like, I don't know. Man, that would be perfect if it was just moved to the other side a little bit. Okay, something like that. So I'm gonna see if my unit Pasca is still alive. Okay, so here is the finished piece, and by the finished piece I mean strictly the cover, and even then I still plan on spraying it with a clear setting spray, or clear, I don't know, something that'll protect it, kind of like a varnish. But I do still plan on like customizing all the different parts of the sketchbook like I do. If you're curious about that, I have a video. You can go check that out. It talks about all the different ways you can customize your sketchbook. I was just planning on showing my process of designing this cover in particular. Just kind of like a little walkthrough of painting. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with it overall. I wish this was slightly up just because like it's kind of annoying. I mean, I like these the same height, but I always feel like the bottom should be a little taller, especially when I have that there, but that's okay. I can get past that. But yeah, overall I'm pretty happy with it. The legs are not exactly how I planned, but I kept messing with them, so I'm just I was at the point where I was like, okay, I just gotta leave it how it is. But yeah, so that's the finished piece. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. If you did, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and type in the comments what you liked about it, or share with me your customizations. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Bye.